Hi, Lindsay.
Hi there.
All right, it is 10 on the dot. So I will now call this meeting to order. Just like to remind all our members that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. So please keep that in mind when you're making your comments. Also, all our chat items are part of the public comment record. And before I begin, I would like to officially welcome Lindsay Post to the committee representing the fantastic city of Tempe. And as we head into the new 2024 year, I know it's remarkable. And another application cycle, I want to thank all our members for all the time and all your guys' expertise for our evaluation process. So as we do continue to meet virtually, a roll call will be conducted for introductions and for all our action items. And with that, Dee Dee, can you conduct the roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Please respond by saying here when I call your name. Nina Arredondo, Pinal County.
Here.
Carolyn Ballard, Town of Florence. Carolyn Ballard, I think your phone's on mute. Okay, we can come back. Vice Chair Calloway.
Here, good morning.
Good morning. We do have Chair Dudley. We were notified that Seth Dyson from the City of Surprise would not be attending. Joan Freeman, City of Scottsdale.
Here.
Thank you. Nancy Jackson, City of Chandler. Nancy. I see you unmuted, but I don't hear.
Her video is up, but Nancy, can you speak? Can we hear you?
Yeah.
We see you on the video. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. We hear you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Wendy Miller, City of Phoenix. Wendy Miller. Okay. Lindsay Post, City of Tempe.
Here.
Thank you. Nathan Williams, Town of Gilbert.
Here.
Thank you. Philip Yabes, City of Buckeye.
Here.
Thank you. And Carolyn Ballard.
Here.
Town of Florence. Thank you.
Good. Okay, good. It worked. Right.
Chair, we do have quorum.
All right, thanks, Dee Dee. All right, thanks, everyone. Just remember, as we're going through the process, please remember to mute yourself when not speaking. And when making a comment, please identify yourself when speaking. And so with that, we will go on to our first item, which is call to the audience. An opportunity was provided to the public to provide written comments to the committee on items that are not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of MAG or on items on the agenda, but not for action. And please note the comments received for agenda items posted for action will be read at the time that the item is heard. Dee Dee, have we received any comments?
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Staff has received one comment which has been distributed to the committee in advance of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dee Dee. Just make sure all members, make sure you go in there and read that. And so with that, we'll move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the committee minutes from November 1st. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And if so, are there any changes to these minutes? All right. Hearing none. Dee Dee, have we received any comments from the public?
Chair, no, we have not.
Okay. Therefore, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes. Can I get a motion?
I'll
Chair,
make
I
the
move
motion.
Oh, go, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, Phil, no,
second.
go for it.
I'll second it.
All
right.
I never got to make a motion, Dave. You just took away my thunder.
No,
Sorry.
you go ahead. I'll second it.
Now I
All
forgot what I was going to say. Chair, I make a motion we accept the November 1 committee meeting minutes.
All right. I have a motion and I have a second from
You got it. I second.
David from the City of Mesa. All right. Any discussion on the minutes? All right, Dee Dee, we'll do a roll call. Please respond by yay or nay, please.
Ina Arredondo,
Yay.
Carolyn Ballard,
Yay.
David Calloway did second the motion. By Chair Dudley,
Yay.
Joan Freeman,
Yay.
Nancy Jackson,
Yay.
Wendy Miller.
Yay.
Thank you. Lindsay Post,
Yay.
thank you. Nathan Williams
Yay.
and Philip Yabist made the motion. It is unanimous, Chair.
All right, the motion passes. So we will move on to agenda item number 4, which is the Human Services Transportation Staff Report. So this is an opportunity for our members to hear about the Human Services Transportation Regional Coordination activities related to this program, and I will pass it off to Dee Dee for this report.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Just a brief update on the Human Services Transportation activities. We did end 2023 with the most trainings the sub-regional mobility managers have offered so far. We had 8 training topics and we held 17 training sessions with over 200, actually 239 participants. We did have 6 past trainings and we certified 50 service provider drivers. And thank you, Ezekias, for facilitating that, and Eric. We were able to offer an in-person preventive maintenance training. And we'd like to thank Justin McGregor and STARS for offering their venue. And we did hold an in-person past training offsite at the city of Avondale. So we also like to thank the city. We have received national recognition from the DOT FTA for our trainings who would like to add our webinars from the MAG region and our stakeholders. We would like to add their webinars to their national resource directory. So that was a great accomplishment for our stakeholders. We've also been contacted by outside agencies to explore opportunities to share resources, such as CarePool, which is a national ride-sharing tool, and the United Fleet, formerly the Brake Shop, to see how they can support vehicle maintenance for our subrecipients. At the last TAP meeting, we had polling questions again, and again, the participants were polled to inquire if they were at staffing capacity. The previous one, 60% said they were not at staffing capacity. At this most recent one in December, still over 50% of the agencies said they were not at staffing capacity. We have heard from some member agencies that they have seen an increase in hiring, and that was one of the polling questions we inquired to our participants at TAP. Unfortunately, over 60% did indicate that they have not seen an increase in hiring. So we are developing best practice sheets on some of the suggestions our stakeholders have provided us, and we are still looking into developing a workshop on hiring and retention in the coming year. I also want to say, to support our agencies, we at TAP, we have rolled out a driver recognition and years of service recognition. We will recognize these individuals at each TAP meeting. We hope this supports our service providers and their staff. This concludes my brief overview of Human Services Transportation Activities. Um, I'm open for questions.
Any questions for Dee Dee? All right. Thanks, Dee
Dee
Dee.
Dee,
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead,
This
Lindsay.
is Lindsay. I'm sorry. I might have missed it. What did TAP stand for? What was that?
Thank you, Lizzie. Definitely, we love our acronyms. It is the Transportation Ambassador Program. It is our what would be considered our coordination meetings.
Oh,
We have-
perfect. Okay.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for Dee Dee? All right, thank you, Dee Dee. So we will now move on to agenda item number 5, which is updates from our MAG sub-regional mobility managers. So this item was a committee request from a previous meeting. So just to let everybody know, our sub-regional mobility managers support our coordination efforts, which is federally required for receiving our 5310 funding. So they provide input into the development of our coordination activities. They facilitate workshops and all the trainings for all our 5310 subrecipients. So I would like to invite our sub-regional mobility manager, Justin McGregor. Justin, I think you're on there to provide an update, and then we're going to follow that with Billy Parker, Andrea Williams, and Eric Pennick. So with that, Justin, are you on there? I see you.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. So my name is Justin McGregor. I'm the Facility Mobility Innovation Manager with STARS. I've been a sub-regional mobility manager for the West Valley now for a little over 5 years. Some of the accomplishments this year, the driver safety and vehicle maintenance training. I assisted 3 agencies to get ready and prepare for their MAG site visits. Assisted 2 agencies building their entire fleet program, excuse me, to include policies, safety, and maintenance. I have gone out to location sites to assist people with their programs and given them instructions on different safety tips. And I fielded many calls in regards to both safety and vehicle maintenance.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions for Justin? And if you don't, we'll also have some time at the end for that one, for just kind of an open-ended questions. All right. Well, thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
All right, Billy.
Hey, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this might be better asked at the end of this section, but can anybody give me a very brief rundown of who are our mobility managers?
You know what? So what we'll do is, so Justin was our first one. Justin,
Yes, sir.
overall, what do you do for mobility manager out of all of our mobility managers? What's your main goal here?
So my main goal is to help individuals out there to either build or create a fleet maintenance program or maintenance safety program. The other main goal is to give trainings on both driver safety and vehicle maintenance. That way, the individuals out there have something to go by when they're getting their vehicles inspected, making sure they're following policies and procedures according with the MAG guidelines.
Okay. All right. Next up will be Billy. Billy, I'm going to have you do the same thing especially for our new members here. It's just kind of go over a little bit with the agency and kind of like what you do for on the mobility manager side for the region.
Sure thing. Thanks a lot, Matt. And thanks for having me. My name is Billy Parker. I'm Executive Director of Chandler Gilbert ARC. We provide support services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We've been in business since 1975, and I've been at this organization since 1994 and have been the executive director since 2013 and have been a sub-regional mobility manager going on 10 years. Really, in terms of sort of generally sort of what my specialty is, I tend to lean a little bit more toward technical and administrative parts of both mobility management and also grant preparation and the 5310 program. And so one of the bigger things that I've worked on for a number of years and still do trainings on is vehicle sharing. And we've set up a vehicle sharing program in our organization that has really been recognized nationally by the Community Transportation Association of America and has sort of been considered a best practice. So a lot of the work that I do is sort of based on that. And we as an agency have some van sharing partners that we work with who actually use our vehicles, and there's a whole process to that. In terms of trainings that I've done, I've sort of expanded some of the vehicle sharing to really looking at vehicle sharing through sort of more of a brokerage model, looking at in the last year and moving forward, I've spent a lot of time also on looking at the process for vehicle disposals and have worked with Wendy Miller, Ezekias, and also folks at ADOT to try to come up with a really user-friendly process for disposing of vehicles. And so that's been a project, and I really appreciate the support that I've gotten from Wendy, especially in getting that done. And I know that the City of Phoenix process has actually changed twice in the last year to sort of make it more user-friendly. And so that's part of the trainings that I do. In addition, I do one training called It's a Moving Target and another one called Let Me Out of This Box. And It's a Moving Target really started during COVID, and it was really more of a guided discussion on current issues or anything anybody's dealing with. So of course, during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, it was all about how is your organization managing operations and transportation with COVID. We've talked about personnel and recruitment, new vehicle disposal guidelines, financial management of your organization, ARPA funding, and also new vehicle disposal guidelines. So the new disposal guidelines is something I do training on now as well. The Let Me Out of This Box training deals with vehicle sharing and also talks about the brokerage model, talks about, again, vehicle disposals, and talks about mobility management in general and what it is that we do and how we can help. We've also had some other topics that usually before I do trainings, I wait and see sort of what's happening anytime recently. And the use of pronouns in business was something that I did some training on recently that was very interesting. So in doing that, we've created a lot of partners. The Chandler Police Department, Community Transportation of America, Flagstaff Regional Council. I've done some trainings and some presentations with them. Elaine, and that's really mostly what I work on. I also do trainings on, I assist people with doing 5310 proposals because we've done them since 1994, and I've done them every year except last year and the year before since 1994. And so we sort of have a unique perspective on that. So we provide a lot of assistance in that way as well. And that's about it for me.
All right, thanks, Billy. All right, we will now move on to Andrea.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay, and you can see okay?
Yep.
Perfect, much better than yesterday. I am Dr. Williams, and I am the VP of Operations at Gompers. And I now am a mobility manager for, I believe, going on 6 months. And so a lot of what I have been doing is just networking with the other mobility managers and MAG, trying to really understand the role. And with that networking, like Billy had said, I'm learning a lot about the vehicle sharing and vehicle disposal. We also, one of our biggest things that we have done is we provided transportation for a few events and conferences for individuals that have wanted to go, but it was on the reservation. And so transportation for them only went up to a certain point. So we were able to fill in the gap and get them where they wanted to go. We also are working with Discount Tire. There's a program where they come out on site and they do repairs and services and preventative maintenance. I learned about that through our other mobility managers as well. And then our big one is Center for the Blind just received their 5310 grant. So they're starting brand new from the very beginning. So our transportation department was able to get with them and go over our trainings, just all the paperwork and just really what to do when you're brand new and you're starting from the very beginning. And that's my 6 months in so far.
All right. Thanks, Andrea. Eric, you're up.
Right. Hello, good morning. My name is Eric Pennick. I'm the Fleet and Facilities Manager here at TCH. I'm going on my third year as a mobility manager. Some of the things that I've been working on, my 2 workshops focus on fleet management and data reporting in regards to the milestone reports and 5310 applications. And they also focus on technological tools that you can use to help your fleet management and help your paperwork and everything go more smoothly. Recently, I've been fielding some questions from local organizations about their 5310 program. We've recently created a partnership with Tempe Leadership and the Tempe Chamber of Commerce. We've been providing transportation to an individual with a disability so that she can attend those events. Our Director of Development, Dawn Hawking, here at TCH is a great mentor for me, and she's created a bunch of amazing partnerships. On a very recent one, she's been working with Opportunity Tree to help them write a grant for the Access ARPA to help them secure more funding for transportation. And so those are some of the things that we've been working on recently.
All right. Thank you, Eric. So this item is for information and discussion only. Are there any comments from the committee or to any of our mobility managers?
This is Lindsay again.
All right, Lindsay.
I just wanted to say hello to Eric. Eric, I'm Lindsay, City of Tempe. After this round, just so that everybody knows, the City of Tempe does issue about $50,000 a year, exactly $50,000 a year from local funds to support agencies in the same way. We do call it 5310, although we use strictly local funds. So it's not exactly the same, but the spirit of the program is the same. So I just wanted to say hi to Eric. I will be taking over this program after this funding cycle. So I wanted to say hi and make that connection. And if there's anything that I need to know at the City of Tempe, just reach out to me.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Any other questions from the committee?
Hey, Matt, this is Nate Gilbert. Just
Nate.
it was nice to hear that a lot of the mobility managers are working with each other and helping each other out, especially the new ones. And, that's great. When we look at these applications, That's a big component of it is kind of participation and helping each other. So that's fantastic to hear.
All right.
And Matt, this is David in Mesa. I just wanted to thank all these mobility managers for taking time today to speak with us. I know that we have some newer folks on the committee, and it's nice to kind of get an update and kind of see what folks are doing in the community to sort of understand these programs and how they're working together. So, like Nathan said, it's great to hear about the vehicle sharing programs, and I'm glad that folks are having some success with that. So, thank you all for being here today.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
I'm sorry, this is Lindsay again. David inspired me. Toward the end of vehicle sharing, I don't know if anybody's ever connected with a woman named Janine Sullivan at the PEMA Association of Governments, but I feel like vehicle sharing has been the toughest thing to wrap our heads around because you're letting somebody else use your vehicle. She championed the same effort in Tucson because no one wanted to share their vehicles. It was just too foreign of a concept. And she developed with their help sort of a matrix. And basically, what it is that every single driver who comes in into the 5310 program and even some 5311s, they're all trained in the same way and they're held to the same standards as far as a performance matrix is concerned. And so, in that way, that's how they've kind of jumped over some of those hurdles. So I'm excited to hear, Billy, about more about what's been going on in our region too, because vehicles are so expensive. A lot of vehicles just sit all day until it needs to be used for the certain function. And so it could be used by lots of people. So I'm excited.
Yep, absolutely. Billy's been a champion on that front. All right. Any other questions?
Chair, if I may,
Uh-huh.
if there are no other questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Dee Dee.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. And Lizzie, thank you for your comments. Just to give a brief overview, our sub-region mobility managers actually act as our community liaison. They are the ones that are in the field. They are at agencies providing these services. So we really value their feedback and input. And they do provide feedback on a lot of the topics that we will be moving forward with, such as hiring and retention. We're also looking at broker systems. Lindsay, this is a story I've told before. As a kids and I, Max staff do attend the National Mobility Managers Forum, sponsored by the Community Transportation Association of America. And the issue of vehicle sharing is an issue that is not only a region issue with barriers, statewide barriers, but national barriers. And one time we did go to the meeting and ask for different resources. And actually they pointed us back to Billy's resource of sharing materials and has our mobility managers were providing their updates. We're talking about different projects, initiatives they have taken on at their agencies. And the great thing about this program is that they bring those best practices back to our stakeholders and they share how they do that. So that Lindsay, you brought up a great topic about standardized trainings. And this is really our overall goal of getting everybody on a standardized type of training so that we can further the vehicle sharing. I know that this is the ultimate goal of, on the federal level. We still haven't found a way, but we are continuing on this issue and looking at all of the tools and all of the opportunities that we can get to that goal. So, and as you can tell, our regional mobility managers, we do have two individuals, Eric and Justin, who really provide information on fleet management and provide their expertise to our agencies. Then we have Andrea and Billy, who are on the higher administrative level, looking at more of those issues. Billy was a great help when we went into COVID, getting the dialogue going on what are some of the best practices and techniques that agencies should be putting in place when COVID first came out. Coming into this year, we are also, we would like to thank the City of Phoenix for being a great support for this program. And we are trying to support Phoenix. Just recently, our dialogue has gone to the city of, during the compliancy with our subrecipients in the region. There were 3 really common issues that the City of Phoenix has found during their compliance review that every agency was had an issue with, and that was on Title VI, fleet management plan, and ADA. We took that and we talked with our sub-regional mobility managers, and now we're looking at other strategies where we can provide support to our subrecipients. So all of our mobility managers have agreed that they would try to integrate those issues into the workshops that they provide. So that this is just some of the high level areas that they provide such great support to our region. And again, I would like to thank the City of Phoenix for their great support for this program. And I would also like to recognize Ezekias has the lead in providing support for sub-regional mobility managers. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Andrea, Eric, Billy, and Justin, thank you very much for all the hard work that you do on behalf of the region. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we will move on to agenda item number 6, which is going to be review of the fiscal year 2024 5310 application process for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale urbanized area and the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urbanized area. So now, as I said, as we head into the 2024 year, we now have 2 urban areas for review. We are not unfamiliar with evaluating these 2 funding pots, as we did almost the same thing a couple years ago with the CRISA COVID funds in our process. So now, Dee Dee, I'll have you provide an overview of the 2024 application process and the timeline, and any updates to the application and our process.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. I'm happy to report there were no legislative changes to the program. And as I noted at our last meeting, that we will follow the same process as the last application cycle. I would just like to provide a very brief overview of the Section 5310 program. Section 5310 is the Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disability Grant Program. It is an FTA, it's a federal capital awards program. Eligible applicants are private nonprofit organizations, public agencies where no viable nonprofits are available, and tribal governments. The eligible populations are agencies serving older adults age 65 and older, and agencies serving persons with disability. Funding, it is required that not less than 55% of the funding of the overall apportionment go to traditional capital request, and 45% to other capital and operating, and less than 10% for administration. Through our regional process, we do go to 60% for traditional capital to ensure we meet that federal requirement. Next slide. And as I noted, and not less than 55% of the funding goes to traditional capital, 40% to other capital and operation, less than 10% administration. The federal share is 80% for traditional capital, and the federal share is 50% for other capital. Federal share is 90% for accessible equipment and projects. Next slide. This slide is a draft smooth boundary map for the Phoenix, Mesa Scottsdale, and the PWGA. We are still waiting for final approval from HWA to approve the boundary area map. This is the mapping that we will move forward with. Areas in the areas outside of the blue and the kind of sandy color, ADOT does the coordination application process for 5310. They are on a 2-year application cycle, and this year they are doing the statewide mobility managers application. Next year, they will go back to the traditional and capital application process. Next slide. There was an up, so we anticipate funding at 5.6 million for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale and estimated 1 point for the PWGA. The committee to hear today serves as a technical committee to develop the priority listing of projects for the, I apologize, that should be for the MAG area. That includes both the PWGA and the PXMS. The priority listing of projects will be utilized when FTA does their final releases, final apportionments are released. I did want to state that I did receive a notification that Congress has gone back into session. They have until the 19th to approve apportionments. We are hopeful that that would happen, but just in case that doesn't happen, we anticipate we are making our estimated funding amounts for these two areas based on past funding and the increase. So all of these are estimated funding until we see final apportionment, hopefully by the 19th, if not soon. Due to the delay in timing, this has put a delay in our 2023 contracts for 5310. And I'd like to ask Wendy if you have any comments that you would like to share regarding the delay.
It's the government. That's my, no, I'm just teasing. Hi, everybody, it's Wendy. We have been working with FTA on a backlog of many different things, not just related to the 2023 contracts and the grant awards. So there's been a delay in all of our grants, not just 5310. So there's been staffing changes, staffing movement. There's been a lot of things that have affected this, and also some problems that we were trying to address that FTA was waiting for us to complete in order to start approving our grant applications again. So there's been quite a few things that have delayed this process, but we are hoping that the 5310 from 2023 the grant will be approved and awarded and in place by the end of January. So we're just waiting and hoping for it to go through as soon as possible.
Thank you, Wendy. Chair, members of the committee, we have experienced this in the past and we move forward. Again, this process is to approve the priority listing that we will utilize when we do receive apportionment to draw down the funds for our PXMS and our PWJ areas. Next slide. An overview of our process. Traditional capital parameters of the committee had approved of limiting vehicles to 5 per request through this process. Other capital and operating, we will utilizing 125 increments based on their ranking order. We did say there would be a 2-year waiting period for applicants who have returned vehicles back into the program in order to apply for vehicles. Applicants scoring below 70% during the evaluation process will not be recommended to move forward. Next slide, please. We will be continuing to hold our EPTT meetings virtually, and all of the agency interviews will be held virtually. During the 2-week process for internal review, once we receive the application, Phoenix and MAG staff will review to ensure that they meet eligibility, federal eligibility and regional threshold. Phoenix staff will review the balance of unexpended grant funding, and Phoenix will review the coordination activities of those applying agencies. Just a reminder, looking at unexpended fundings, this was recommended through FTA not to move forward those applicants with requests with unexpended fundings until past expenditures were spent down. Next slide, please. I would like to review the tentative schedule for the evaluation process. Today, we are here to approve the evaluation timeline and any other revisions to the application process. New this year, we did make a change to our sub-regional mobility managers. In the past couple of years, our mobility, Billy Parker, has coordinated a regional mobility manager question and answer workshop. And this is more of a peer-to-peer opportunity for our agencies to ask questions for our sub-regional mobility managers, share best practices and give some of their insights on, as Billy said, he has been doing this process for a long time. So he is sharing his expertise. And so new this year, the mobility managers have talked about moving their question and answer before the release of the application. We have noted in the past a few times some agencies have applied through 45310 funding, and then at the last moment, once they kind of finally realize the extent of the program, they pulled out. We hope this will mitigate that. We hope we'll be able to, with the mobility managers, having the question and answer before the application is released and having all of their questions answered, almost, all of the questions answered. We will help, that will help cut down on those agencies that pull out of the application process earlier. So I'd like to thank Billy for coordinating this and the mobility managers for attending. We will send out the NOFA on Monday and release the application on January the 22nd. MAG and the City of Phoenix will hold a proposal workshop on Tuesday, January the 30th. This will be virtual. And I would like to say we did send out a save the date notice, and we have, without even the NOFA going out, we have about over 40 participants, stakeholders registered for that workshop. Applications will be due on Monday, February the 26th. Next slide. The app, as I noted, once we receive those applications, MAG and the City of Phoenix will do a 2-week internal review to ensure that once you receive the applications, you will know that all of the applications meet eligibility and regional criteria. The committee will meet once again on Wednesday, March 13th to receive application training. We will provide thorough application training on the evaluation process, and we will provide you all of the applications, all the eligible applications for your review. We do have a couple of opportunities for the committee to ask questions. One of the opportunities is the committee can submit questions to MAG, and then we will forward those out to the applicants. Committee questions will be due on Monday, April the 8th. For those of you attending ASTA, it is during the Arizona Transit Association Summit, but you are more than welcome to submit your questions earlier. The committee will receive the response. We will then collect all of the questions, forward those to the applicants. They will have time to respond to those, and we will submit all of the questions, all the responses back to the committee on Monday, April 15th. That's just another opportunity, another tool for you during your evaluation process. Initial scores will be due to MAG on your evaluation process on Thursday, April 18th. And I do say initial scores. On April 23rd and 24th, which is a Tuesday and Wednesday, the committee has chosen to interview all of our applicants. It is a 15-minute interview where you are able to ask any additional questions or follow-up questions on the application, and for the committee, for the applicants to have an opportunity to address the committee and their need. We have seen this has been a very helpful tool. We also provide you an opportunity once you receive the questions, you're able to ask questions during the interview. We also provide you an extra opportunity to revise your scores based on those two opportunities. And then during that time, on the last day of the 24th, the committee will meet, will review the ranking order, and we will develop the priority listing for the priority listing for the Section 5310 apportionments that we will forward to the City of Phoenix to do their consolidated application process to submit to FTA. Next slide. And this is basically the same timeline and evaluation process as the previous year. So our approval process is that the committee here today will develop the priority listing for recommendation for approval. That priority listing will go through our Human Services committee meetings for recommendation approval. And then it will go to a management committee. Management committee is made up of all our member agencies, town managers, and their representatives for recommendation of approval. And once that moves forward, we will forward that to the MAG Regional Council, which is made up of all the cities and our member agencies, mayors and elected officials and the representatives for approval to forward to the City of Phoenix. As I noted, and that's a review process. As I noted, while there were no legislative changes to the program, in meeting with Phoenix and discussing FTA suggestions to update a few items to strengthen the compliancy area of our application process, we have made a few revisions to the application itself. And I'd like to offer up, I would like to ask Wendy if she would like to provide an update on some of the revisions that we have put into place.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Chair, Vice Chair, committee members. The changes, one of the changes was a request by FTA in regards to ensuring that we are reviewing our subrecipients or applicants for their indirect cost requests. So we had a review done and some recommendations made by our auditors that told us to add questions to our application in regards to whether they're selecting the de minimis 10% rate and then signing a certification. So the application now asks for more detailed information on if they are requesting on their operating assistance. Most of them are in relation to our volunteer driver programs. So those applicants would now answer a few questions, put in their request for the indirect costs, and then they would sign a certification that basically says that their financial management system in place can appropriately meet the eligibility requirements of isolating the cost categories and the things that we need their financial management system to do, and that they also signing a certification that they meet the eligibility of the de minimis rate. For a brief background, a de minimis rate is allowable only if you've never had a federally negotiated indirect cost rate. So once you've received that from a cognizant agency, you're no longer eligible. And there's some other requirements in there. So we're just, as we always do, reviewing our application, reviewing our process, identifying things that we could do a little bit better. And we're adding this to the process. So if those agencies that are asking for indirect costs, they're just having to answer a few more questions and sign an additional certification. On another change, this was probably more my lack of understanding than anything else, to be honest with you. Our compliance staff were doing compliance reviews and had indicated that some of our subrecipients were not, did not have a drug-free workplace program in place. And so it was a confusion between, we know that the Section 5310 program, the subrecipients are not required, the nonprofits, they don't have to have their, because of CDL rules, and we don't offer CDL vehicles, they do not have to complete drug and alcohol testing requirements, but they were required to do a drug-free workplace program. And so we had never required our subrecipients in the past to have this program in place, and we weren't checking for it. And so we discovered that that was a discrepancy. And so now all subrecipients, and ADOT always had these requirements in place. And so if our subrecipients were ADOT subrecipients as well, they had these programs in place. So what we discovered was it was just the city of Phoenix only subrecipients that had these deficiencies. So for these agencies, we are working with them to get their programs in place, and we are adding this to our process and our handbook, giving some information in there so that they know that this is a requirement. And we will give new applicants and subrecipients time to put that in place, much like their ADA or Title VI plans. It would just be part of that. And Phoenix has a program and information to help those subrecipients put that program in place. It's most like anything else, it's pretty straightforward. We give them a template, or we give them the information and give them technical assistance on how to adopt those programs. So we're working on that to get our current subrecipients in place that don't have them. And going forward, we will be informing them of that. And then we just did some minor updates and clarifications to the handbook, but those are the primary two largest updates, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Wendy. Again, we are, we are very happy to partner with you and for you to explain the compliancy part. We have worked with to update the application, the handbook and guidelines. MAG has worked with the City of Phoenix to up-to-date the application of all necessary documents. We did have the drug-free question in our application process, but a lot of what Wendy and the revisions that we're looking at is more on the back end of the application process and after the awards, post awards of those compliancy documents. Overall, this doesn't really affect the evaluation process. The committee can expect to see a couple of additional items added into the application, but this does not affect the rubric. It will remain the same. We do anticipate to meet the January 22nd rollout application deadline. We have worked and been in contact with the City of Phoenix to ensure that during our proposal workshops, we do go over all of the additional information that we will be requesting for this application process. The committee will receive evaluation training in March, and we will go over the evaluation process more thoroughly. But overall, we just wanted to bring this information to you to ensure that you are aware of some of the changes that are taking place on the back end. But again, this does not really affect the the rubric, you will be seeing some additional items in the application. Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you. I would also like to note that we're very appreciative that the committee had requested to want to hear updates of our mobility managers and the continued support that they are providing to our regional stakeholders and subrecipients. We are also appreciative of the City of Phoenix for their support of the program. In reviewing, we do review MAG and Phoenix. We do review the work performance of the mobility management. And in reviewing the work that they provided, we would like to recommend a cost of living increase for the mobility manager's position request this year. Mobility management has been an eligible activity for the past 10 years, as Billy Parker had noted, and Chair Dudley did remind me 10 years of this process. And this is the first time we have requested for a cost of living increase. And this is a great opportunity since we also seen a major increase from the past couple of years, from being at 3.6 million, going all the way up to 5.6 million. So we have seen a great increase in the apportionment. I would also like to note that the mobility managers here presented here today are the leads of their program, but they are also supported by other staff at their agencies. So we would like to suggest that the cost of living increase would go from what the request is now at $45,000 to $50,000, which would mean a $10,000 match and a $40,000 federal request. So our request today is to approve the mobility manager's cost of living increase. Are there any questions? This concludes my presentation.
All right. Thank you, Dee Dee. Any other comments from the committee? All right, hearing none. Dee Dee, can we just make sure that the slide decks, especially to our new members, just get sent out to everyone for today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none, I'd like to thank Wendy as you work for definitely making sure that the compliance is, and it's not an easy job. Oh my goodness, it is not easy. And especially to you, Dee Dee and Hezekiah, for continued support for this program. This item is for action, but before that, Dee Dee, I'll have you summarize the committee's, well, we didn't have a lot of discussion. I'll just have you summarize kind of what we're doing and the changes that we've had.
Okay. So this item, thank you, Chair and members of the committee. This item is for action, is for approval of the fiscal year 2024 Section 5310 application process timeline for the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, and Phoenix West Avenue Goodyear urban area to include all necessary updates and revisions to the application and a cost of living increase for the mobility management position requests.
All right, thank you. Have we received any comments from the public on this item?
Chair, members of committee, we have not received any comments.
All right, so with that, I will call for a motion for approval of the fiscal 2024 section 5310 application process and timeline for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale and the Phoenix West Avondale Goodyear urbanized area to include all the necessary updates and the revisions to the application and a cost of living increase for the mobility management position request. So with that, do I have a motion?
This is
Jackson.
Go ahead.
So moved, Nancy Jackson.
All right, got a Motion from Nancy. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, and I'm glad I didn't have to repeat all of those words.
I know.
I know, I was tongue-tying myself here. All right, so I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion from the committee? All right, hearing none. Dee Dee, you'll do a roll call. Please respond by yay or nay, please.
Thank you, Chair. Nina Arredondo.
Yay.
Carolyn Ballard.
Yay.
Vice Chair Calloway.
Yay.
Chair Dudley.
Yay.
Joan Freeman. Joan Freeman.
John Freeman, you are on mute, but we cannot hear you.
I can come back. Nancy Jackson did make the motion. Wendy Miller. Wendy Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Lindsay Post, second the motion. Nathan Williams.
Yay.
Philip Yabes.
Yay.
Okay, I would like to go back to Nancy Jackson.
Oh, I think I moved. I made the
Yeah,
motion.
she made the motion.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
Carolyn.
Carolyn
Joan.
Ballard.
Yeah.
I believe we were hoping for Joan Freeman's
Yeah,
vote.
it was John Freeman.
Oh, was
Oh,
it
okay,
Joan?
thank you.
All right, Joan.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
She still seems to have been with some technical difficulties because she's still on mute.
Can you
but
hear
we
me
cannot-
now?
Okay, there we go.
Oh, we hear
Now
you.
we can.
Yay!
All
Yay!
right. There we go.
Thank you, Joan. Chair, members of the committee, it was a unanimous.
All right, so the motion passes. All right, we will now move on to agenda item number 7, which is request for future agenda items. Are there any other requested topics or issues of interest to consider for future agenda items? And remember, these topics and issues can be requested for future agendas, but not discussed currently.
Can someone remind me of the date of our next meeting?
Dee Dee? Oh, we can't hear you, Dee Dee.
Thank you. The date is March 13th. And at that time, the committee members will receive application evaluation training, and we will provide all of the eligible applications to the committee.
With that being said, then I'm not sure if it's appropriate for it to be its own agenda item, but at that point, the City of Tempe will have updates on its local 5310 process using our local funds. So I'd like to be able to provide an update on that.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, we'll make sure we get that added. All right. Any other topics or issues from the rest of the committee? All right. Since this is information, I will move on to agenda item number 8, which is comments from the committee. This is also just for information only. Does anyone have any announcements they would like to make? All right, hearing none. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. I would definitely like to thank everyone once again for all your time and your expertise going into the 2024 application process. We do have a new zone, but again, I don't think that's anything different that we've done before. So I'm excited to see exactly how this kind of plays out. And again, everyone's participation really helps us enable us to award all these funds to support, this fantastic human services transportation program that we have in the region. So with no other comments, I will call for an adjournment. I can just adjourn, right?
Yes.
All right, everyone. This meeting is adjourned, and I will see you again on March 13th.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.